Nologent here. In this episode, we're talking about Filson vests.
Welcome to Nologent. Let the good times roll.
Okay, so looking at the sizing of Filson vests can be a bit tricky in my experience. So usually I wear a size 44 in a suit jacket and size 44 in the Filson Mackinaw cruiser. I've discovered size 44 in the vest didn't quite work for me. So this 44 in the Mackinaw cruiser, very roomy. I have plenty of space to button it without any issue, and it's quite comfortable to me. When we get to the vest situation though, I found it gets a little more tight and squeezed in the different parts of my body where it's not so comfortable. So let's show you some of the differences here. So here we are in a size 46 vest that I was just wearing under the Mackinaw cruiser, and it's very comfortable for me. So I, like many people, carry things on my waist. I always like to have a little personal protective equipment underneath here. Cell phones, other items you might carry on your waist. You generally do need a little more room to be able to get this vest all buttoned up. It also tends to be very comfortable unbuttoned. If I want to wear it unbuttoned like this as well, it does tend to work very nicely. So I had to size up. With this vest, we get nice hand warmer pockets that are easy to get your hands into or put some things in there. They're pretty handy for when it's cooler and maybe you don't have gloves on, but they will definitely get toasty warm inside of these hand warmer pockets. So you get these three little separate areas that are pretty appropriate for a pen or other type of tool. So nice little separation of items. Then you've got another pocket up here that will fit, say a cell phone. This is a bigger one, so it doesn't fit all the way inside there. And it also can fit inside of this nice little hand warmer pocket as well pretty decently, although, you know, if it does go out and fall to the side, it can poke out just a little bit right there. So this is not the best, most secure place for your cell phone. I actually end up putting it in here a little more often, but if you bend over, it can still fall out. So if you've got a larger phone, this might not be the most secure place to put that item within these pockets. And it certainly looks good, feels good. I enjoy wearing it at least, so it's definitely a winner if you can find the one that fits for you. Now let's go check out some other size options. Now here we are in a size 44 vest. Now I can still fasten it. I just feel way too constricted and tight. It fits fine in the chest, but down here in this area, these last two buttons, just a little too tight for my comfort level. So I do have a larger posterior back there. It does rather catch on to as well. Now, if I unbutton it, tight on that last button. It works okay unbuttoned. I can button these first three buttons perfectly fine, and I generally leave the last button down below unbuttoned, but this fourth button is a bit of a stretch to get fastened all the way. So it's not really giving me any room at all to even layer underneath this. So I'm just wearing a t-shirt and a very light, thin, long sleeve shirt here. So any layering underneath here, this would be very uncomfortable and probably impossible to button after a point. So 44 didn't work for me. Now let's look at other options. So the older Filson vests were sized like men's suits and numbers. The newer Filson vests are sized in small, medium, large, extra large. So this is a size large Filson vest, and I also find the large fits me a lot better than the 44. So this is a lot more comfortable than the 44. It's not quite as roomy as the 46, but it definitely is in the realm of I'm comfortable in it. So the button down here that gives me the most trouble is definitely easily fastened. So the first three, once again, very easy to get to, but once I get to that fourth button, sometimes I have to suck in my gut a little bit. With the 44, this large, no problem. So it's very comfortable, a little tighter fitting certainly than that 46 by just a hair, but not too much. So this is certainly very doable, very wearable, and it's also a very comfortable thing to wear unbuttoned as well. So another option, just so you can compare and contrast those older Filson vests with the number sizes versus here's a large. Let's look at another option. And here we have the Filson Western Vest. So you got a different set of pockets in this one and a collar, so you can be all groovy and protect your neck with the wind if you're not wearing anything else. So as a standalone vest, this gives you a few more options. This is an extra large, and I would say this extra large is possibly, I'd say, a smidge bit tighter than the large and that red vest that we just saw. So I would almost say an XXL would be a better fit in some ways if I wanted to layer anything under here, because it is a bit of a tighter fit, and I don't quite know what to make of how they've sized these Western vests, because XL should be that much bigger than the large and the other vests. I did read online with a lot of reviews that the Western vest does tend to fit far tighter than the regular Mackinaw vest, so that's another thing to take into consideration. When unbuttoned, of course, perfectly fine. Although, if I were gonna layer under here, I couldn't do maybe much more than a very thin merino wool or otherwise polyester level 1 undershirt. So it's not too tight, but it's getting there. So just it does hang a little bit lower in the front, as you see. It's got these two hang downs that maybe put it a little lower. It certainly, just has these 4 pockets where the Mackinaw vest will have those 2 little pockets on the sides you can get your hands warmed up on. It is not as deep of a pocket here in the top area, so my phone is almost half sticking out there. And then the lower pocket is about the same depth, I would say. Maybe a little tad bit deeper. Still not a very secure place to probably carry my phone. Same thing with the pins. There's not a dividing. It's the same pockets on both sides, unlike the other vest. So see how this lower pocket works here. It's very much similar. So just a tad bit more deep in the lower pocket, but not by much. So these pockets are not quite as useful as on the other vests. So that's just another important consideration to consider when you're determining what your end use case is for the vest. And then just to see the interior of how the vest looks, here's the Western vest interior. So you can see the pocket flaps just are hanging loose on the inside there. Then the interior of the other vest here. So this one is much more smooth on the inside. You don't have any pockets that are going to be dangling on the interior. Of course, both of them no interior pocket. So an interior chest pocket is a handy thing that I do like. Neither one of these vests has it. So just very different fits between the vests, so determining your proper size gets to be a challenge. So I am 5'9", and I range between about 210, 220 pounds, depending on the season. Right now, I'm probably closer to 225 because it's carnival season here in New Orleans, so I'm a little excessive above my normal training weight, and we'll see how that's going. So I'm a little extra heavy at the moment. However, even when I'm more to my 210 size, the other vests are a little tight still. So the chest fits well in all of them. It's just when we get to, at least to my body, because I have this large jutting out rear end, and I do carry personal protective equipment in different areas on my belt. it will make things tighter. So that does add to the overall ability to have a comfortable fit with these little buttons down below. So really, it's the third and fourth button where you start getting a little tightness. First two buttons, no problem, but number 3 and number 4 definitely gets a little on the more tight side. It's tighter than I would like because I want some room. I want to be able to layer and have things under here just in case. Especially with this vest, because with the collar, that really does make it a great thing for standalone. So you don't really need all the time another jacket on top or anything that's gonna cover your arms all the time. If you have just maybe a base layer and another shirt and this vest, that can be pretty good for a pretty wide temperature range. So Filson, it would be great if maybe you could get a little more detailed with maybe the waist measurement of what's going on with these vests, because there seems to be such a wide variation of how they really are in that area. So chest size, you know, that's one thing that's not available anymore on a lot of your newer products. We just get that small, medium, large, extra large, XXL, and it's really hard to see how some of those things fit till you actually try them on. So it's definitely trying to do your best to estimate, and maybe better to size up 1 or even 2 sizes in the case of the Western vest here. So definitely, if you can get to a place where you can try some of these clothing items on, might be worth your while, because I've certainly had a little challenge finding the correct sizing for myself with these Filson vests, where with the Filson Mackinaw Cruiser and many of their other products, never had a problem with it. These vests are just a little more finicky, so keep that in mind. So, thanks so much for checking out all these Filson vests with me. And overall, you know, they're great quality like most Filson things are. It's just finding the one that's gonna fit you and fit what you're gonna do in your life with it. So, tune in next time for more good equipment, good clothing, and how things fit. Nolagent here, and thanks so much for watching. And just go ahead and destroy this video right here to keep up with the fun.